typical sound you'll hear echoing across the bay when the South African Navy are having their whaling regatta. The regatta is held annually in the harbour of Durban and is mainly contested between Navy ship crews. But one of the races involves civilian companies who supply equipment to the Navy. The race is held in these huge 1.5-ton whaling boats. They're a hangover from the old days when they actually used to hunt whales from these boats. There is a crew of 5 oarsmen and 1 cox who steers the boat down a track, course of 1,200 meters, and there are about 8 to 10 boats in each race. The civilian race is hotly contested. The prestige of winning this race is highly sought after. The Navy assists by providing training boats for 2 months before the regatta. We trained 2 nights a week in the small lake next to a shopping centre. Bear in mind, though, the race is held in July, and training in the freezing Johannesburg winter is a challenging experience. It's dark. The temperature is 3 or 4 degrees, and you need to wear several layers of clothing to keep warm. The traditional Navy rum and sherry assist in helping to keep the chills away. Picture the serenity. The darkness surrounds. The moon is in the night sky. The wind ripples across the water. The shopping centre lights are shimmering as they reflect off the water. Suddenly, pull! Echoes off the walls as the cox calls for the first stroke. Pull! Pull! As they speed up and settle into an even rhythm. For 40 or 50 seconds, there's frenetic activity, and then quiet. All that can be heard is the lapping of the boat wake against the water. The heavy breathing of the oarsmen. And a sharp question. How long do we have to do this for? What? 8 minutes? Are you out of your mind? But several weeks later, 6 or 8 minutes of full speed rowing was reasonably manageable. On race day, I was the cox. But a few minutes before the race, pandemonium broke out because one of the oarsmen was not going to pitch. He was stuck in traffic. We scurried around to find a stand-in, and we managed to get a Navy captain. But he was not allowed to row. He could only be the cox. But that didn't create any issues. For I had also trained along with the oarsmen, and so there was no real problem with swapping positions. Bang! The gun went off. The race was on. Pull! Came the shout of 10 coxes. Pull! As the oars tore into the water. Pull! As we accelerated up to speed. Pull! Stop! One of the 3-inch thick oars broke in two. This had never happened to us. What were we going to do? The cox rips up the spare oar, raises it above his head and throws it at the oarsman. Stunned, he catches it before it goes over the side. Obviously, the captain was much better trained than we were. We recovered, and we headed off, screaming off to the finish. But not before we had a lay down Sally moment. One of the guys lying on the lap of the guy behind him. In this instance, it was caused by the oar pushing on his chest and thumping him down because he mistimed his pull. Unlike Sally, who laid out with exhaustion. We headed for the finish. Deep concentration. Solidly focused. The shouting and the crowd were making noise, but it did not pierce our concentration. We crossed the finish line, and we collapsed, absolutely shattered from our 7 minutes of full-on exertion. Alas, there was no fame for us, because we were pipped at the post into third, and so we were disappointed. But we could easily have been 5th or 6th if it hadn't been for our captain, who reacted very quickly. We headed off to the beer tent to watch the rest of the races, content that we had pulled together as a great team, and there was time for a small retribution for that missing oarsman. But all I'll say is, what happens in the regatta stays in the regatta. Thank you.